very interesting day for the Indian banking sector as well, because the Supreme Court today has ordered the RBI to disclose its annual inspection reports of banks along with a list of willful defaulters and information related to them under the RTI, which is the Right to Information Act. The issue has been pending for a very long time. The reason why this issue has also assumed a lot of importance is given the crisis in the Indian banking sector. So today, going forward now, RBI can't couch information under its non-disclosure policy, and so basically now the kind of toxicity which has been built into the banking system will be out as and when the information has been sought from RBI. RBI will have to disclose that information. RBI on its part has maintained that it doesn't need to share the information under the RTI Act, and has said that information was exempted under Section 8(1)(e) of the RTI Act and Section 45(NB) of the Reserve Bank of India Act. What it effectively means is these statutes give RBI a kind of an exemption, and RBI for a very long period of time has been arguing its case. In fact, the reason why this judgment also holds a lot of importance today is because the issue of NPS has been mounting. We have seen cases after cases about willful defaulters. Some of the marquee banks have been, their balance sheets have been eroded because the kind of lending practices which were earlier adopted. So now going forward, RBI won't have RBI can't claim that it need not disclose this information under certain exemptions granted to it under the RTI Act. In fact, that is the idea. Given that some of RBI does these annual audits of the banks, and RBI is the banking regulator in this country, any such information which comes out for the consumption of the public, also it will bring much more transparency into the systems as well. As the viewers will be aware, there have been big ticket defaulters. People have actually taken loans from the banks without any intention of returning it to the banks as well. Large brands have gone under, large companies have gone under because the promoters, to start with, never had the intention of returning the loan which they had taken from the banks as well. So this is certainly a step in the right direction and intended towards bringing much more transparency, not only to the Indian banking space, but will also have wide-ranging ramifications for the economy as well. Had such kind of information being shared earlier, I'm sure that the investors and also the public at large would have been made aware of the kind of a crisis which had been building in the Indian banking space as well. As it's always said, more information is always welcome. And I'm sure that given that there have been certain systems and practices which have been put in place by RBI as well, going forward, it will be a much more cleaner slate that as and when the investors would like to have a deco at that information.